You know, if I had a cowboy hat, I would be wearing it right now. Greetings, my name is Brian. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. Today, we have Garrison Brothers. Coincidentally, I got this as a boot flask. And I've been meaning to open it for a while. I've only been to Garrison Brothers once, and this was back in 2019. I'm fairly certain about that. It was me and Mama KillCo hanging out there, and I was the one drinking. Mama KillCo was driving. I didn't go in on a tour or anything, and maybe I will someday. It was nice to get away, and I felt very set apart and in the country when I did go there. I can't explain it further than you actually have to go there to see how far away you are from everything. This is another one that has wax on it, so we'll see how this goes. This is actually working pretty well so far. I feel like someone's going to fly in my face. Please don't. Please don't. I also need to point out that Garrison Brothers is one of the distilleries you can get to because it's not far from Austin, Texas. And all of the Texas distilleries I've actually been to myself are fairly close to Austin. Ooh, jeez. There are many other distilleries on the Texas Whiskey Trail, so hopefully you'll be able to go there and see a few of them someday. Oh boy. Here we have it at 47%. Straight bourbon whiskey. Cooked, distilled, barreled, and bottled by Garrison Brothers Distillery in High, Texas, USA. Yee-hoo! I do apologize, I had to do something like that just once. They say the whiskey is cooked, which it is, because Texas heat is insane. If you're wondering why I did get the boot flask, it's because a lot of Garrison Brothers bottles can be very expensive. Not necessarily a standard release, but in my case, I saw this one when I was in Texas, and it seemed like a deal, so I picked it up before I left. We begin with the color. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I really do enjoy the color on some Texas whiskeys, but sometimes they can be a bit too oak forward for my taste. Hopefully this one isn't. It has been a while since I had any Garrisons whatsoever, so I'm not really sure what to expect. The last time I had this at the distillery was in 2019, and this is being recorded in 2023, so it's been a minute. Onto the nose. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Raisins? What? Raisins and cinnamon and, oh, what was that? Hold on. I have to say oak. It's some kind of wood note, but I'm not 100% sure if it is actually oak or some other type of wood that's coming to mind. Maybe sandalwood, that's another one. I'm trying to figure out how to describe the sweetness. I don't like to say this, but it's reminiscent of a... Wow. If you've ever had a sugar-free lollipop, let me look at that. It feels familiar, that's the weird thing. Peanut again. I don't like peanut shell. I shouldn't say actual peanut. Recently, peanut shell, dusty, and musty have been popping up in my tasting notes very recently. I got sugar cookie, or since it is a little spicy, it could be ginger snap. Aloe vera. There's something green about this. Yeah, I'm leaning into that green sap. To remind everyone, when you break a young sapling branch, you get the actual green of the bark, and that is the smell I'm thinking of. Why that specific smell, I will never know. Touch of brown sugar. All right, I'm going to get lost in the nose if I keep this up. Whoa. Walnut. Try not to think about it, Brian. Ooh. Almond? On the palate? Where am I getting these nutty notes from recently? First sip, just to prepare myself for alcohol. Second sip, hold on the palate for a few seconds, and then see what I can figure out from there. It's a little cinnamon spice, some brown sugar. There's some kind of dry note that I'm not fond of, but it's also a little oily. Like it's clean. It's stuck. I can feel it stuck to my tongue. It absolutely sticks around. Ah, it's still there. There's some vanilla to it. What kind of vanilla? I will lean towards it being actual vanilla extract. And by that, of course, I mean the smell of it is what I'm tasting, because if you've ever actually tried vanilla extract, you have made a mistake in your life. Yeah, it is more dry, more oak forward. It's not too aggressive, but we're talking about a much lower proof, and I've tried many Texas whiskeys that are much higher proof from the start. Like, this is one of the lowest proof Texas whiskeys I have encountered. It's certainly not like a typical bourbon, but remember, my preference for bourbons is typically sweeter. This one is going more oak forward and oily instead of the vanilla caramel sweetness that I usually like. I feel like this is a note I've gotten before. Getting this note makes it feel like some kind of tell. Like if I were given a lineup and there was a Garrison Brothers in it, this is the note that would stick out the most. And it's not one I particularly like, and it's very, very hard for me to explain other than burnt walnut shell is the best descriptor I can come up with at the moment. I'll just have a little more so I can double check. It's right there. It's the first thing I taste. But then it begins a little spicy, a little sweet, and then it starts to get dry. And then after that, it stays dry. At first it was clingy. Now, because I've had a few sips, it's more dry on my palate, especially on my tongue specifically. Not exactly my favorite Texas whiskey, but it has some pretty tough competition out there if you've ever tried the variety of Texas whiskeys on the Texas Whiskey Trail. With that, as always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you out there. Thank you for joining me on KillCo Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.